Hello everyone, Darren here. This is going to be March's QA vid. Um, like the month February's QA vid, there wasn't a whole lot of questions compared to the first one that I did, but that's not a big deal. That just means I get to spend more time on the questions that were provided to me. So we're going to get into it, and as usual, there's just going to be some random background clips for you to watch and yeah, for your own entertainment while you listen to me answer these particular questions. So, enough dribble. Let's get into it. Um, the first question is by Gun Nerd, and he asks what my mentality is when I see that my team performs the lemming train on an insignificant part of the map, or I'm just going to say lemming trains in general, leaving a vital part of the map open. Um, Obviously very much frustration, much like anyone else that witnesses this on their team and they have some confidence to know how to perform. Me, I'm not the type of player that is like, oh well, someone's got to go down that flank and then just go sacrifice myself. More it is I start to do a more defense in depth type of tactic. I assume automatically that they are going to be able to cap our base with ease, so I don't. I have already mentally prepared for a loss, and by that time, I am solely focusing on my performance, not the team's performance, because they already made the decision to risk a total loss, lemming training down one side. And I'm assuming this is a standard battle in a team destruction. Lemming training is like the best tactic you could do because it's team destruction. It's but we're gonna stick with standard battles. So at that point, again, I focus purely on my performance. So I will continuously, and it is selfish, but again, like I said, I focus on my performance to make it feel like a win to me. I continuously do as much damage as I can until I no longer feel that I could safely do damage without taking damage in return. So if I even have one or two tanks that are next to me, I mean, I will not hesitate to completely abandon a flank and fall back to a farther position. I'll fall back enough to where, the teammates that I just left can spot for me, but I will continuously fall back behind the lemming train in order to, I guess, in a sense, cover their backs, but still allow me to survive to continue to put out damage. That is my mentality. So I guess in summary of that one is I just prepare for a loss and uh, focus on my performance in the game. The next couple questions are by Yezdi. Um, his first question was he wanted to know my thoughts on the community map. I think it has a ton of potential. Um, it's too it. I wish they put a little bit more assets into the map. I do, like I said, I think it needs some work. I didn't get to play and explore all of it, but I do feel that this might actually be a map that the Stritzvon 103B will actually be able to be relevant for once. The Stritzvon 103B is one of those tanks where it's like your team has to actually be has to suck enough that the enemy team is advancing towards you, but they have to be good enough in order for them to hold the enemy team at bay for you to be able to safely plink away at the enemy team. It's one of those very situational tanks. Um, so I'm kind of excited, hoping that the map is like that. I also like big, open, maneuverable maps. Maps that I can, be flex around. I can be mobile. I can constantly change up my the strategy. I'm not stuck in a corridor, and I don't feel like I'm in a corridor with the with that community map. But of course, it does need a little tweaking, and I am okay with seeing many iterations of the map until it gets perfect. His next question is asking if I'm going to be streaming anytime soon. I do stream. It's just the motivation to stream recently has not been there. Mostly just because of the fact that um, I feel that I am no longer upholding myself um, to the expectation of how I want to present myself when I stream. I have discovered that I am actually now kind of being a little bit more sour, um, not contradicting, more of being angry and vocal about my anger towards the mistakes of the enemy team, and that is, or my team and the enemy team. It doesn't matter who. No one is safe from me anymore in my streams, and I don't feel like that is the image that I want to portray in my streams anymore. So until I can get that under control when streaming, the streams are going to kind of be spaced out. So if you still feel like, subbing to me or something like that, I appreciate the support, but I just, I don't want you to be throwing, your subscription away to me if I'm only going to be streaming, maybe once or twice a month. So yeah, but that is the reason. I no longer feel like I am portraying the attitude that I want to portray accurately anymore, and so that is why I have stopped. Aside from a number of other reasons, but that is the main cause. His other question, or his last question, is he wants to know which super heavy he should go for: the E100, the Panzer 7, the 60 TP, or the Object 705A. I only have 2 of the 4 of those, and those are the 60 TP and the 705A. Out of those, I think as of this moment, recording this video, definitely go for the 60 TP if you are still holding off on my answer to start the grind, because they have the on track. So go for it right now. Go for the 60 TP. Some of the people in Immortals, back when I was still part of the clan when this started, they unlocked the 60 TP relatively quickly because they're at tier 9. They're just holding out for this thing. And they're like, yeah, this is a pretty good tank. I like it, and it's like, it's not bad either. I think it's not bad. I just am not good in super heavies. I don't like super heavies. Too slow. The next 2 questions are from RK11. His first question is, have I ever played War Thunder? And then his other question is T110E4 or Jagdpanzer E100. And then in between that, he asks, which one do I like more? So I don't know which question specifically he's asking I like more. So I'm going to answer both. In terms of tank things, I definitely will take World of Tanks because I have invested more time in there and I have accomplished much more in World of Tanks console. So I'll always pick World of Tanks console over War Thunder. And I know there's still problems with World of Tanks console, but I hope they get fixed. I'm not saying they will, but hope is better than depression, I guess. So yes, T110E4 or Jagdpanzer E100, which one do I like more? I don't have the Jaegeru, so I'm going to definitely say the T110E4 because it's literally, in my eyes, a heavy tank with a 155mm gun. If you are not firing nothing but premium out of the E4, apparently you're playing it wrong. Is what I've been told. So, yes. Next question is by Ivan Wong, and he's which tank is my favorite tier 1? Well, I don't play tier 1s all the time, but if I were to go for, I guess, a tier 1 that I actually kind of was excited to play, it would be the tier 1 Stritzvon tank. I forget the exact name of it, but I liked it because it was, I saw the inside the hatch that the Chieftain made, and I was like, ooh, yes. Last question is by Ian B, and he wants to know my thoughts on artillery. Well, I mentioned artillery a ton of times on the Arty. I do think, talking with some other CCs, I have come to the conclusion and agree with their argument of artillery. It has a place in the game, but its current setup mechanic violates the fair play policy. It's not like a policy that you sign or agree to, like normal stuff. It's kind of just like the ethical policy of fair play. And that policy is that, in the World of Tanks sense, is that fair play in this game is like, let's say Arty doesn't exist, so the fair play would be like the only way you can die is by line of sight. So that means that, You know, if an enemy is shooting at you, even though they are unspotted, you know that you are being shot at, and you have the ability to either prevent yourself from being shot, shoot back, um, or anything other that you can pretty much do the same thing the enemy can do. That is the fair play policy. You guys are on equal playing field because it's line of sight. The arty mechanic, or arty as a whole, violates that policy because they are able to safely stay at base and be able to rain death safely from their position, and the only person that can stop them is, well, provided that, you know, no one has spotted the artillery or closed in to take care of the artillery personally, is another artillery who's able to plink away in direct fire and counter battery the arty. Again, it has a purpose in the game, but in its current standpoint, it does violate the fair play policy because you can just delete an enemy tank, and that person does not have the ability to defend themselves or, you know, return fire or anything like that. Sure, you could be arty safe, but what is arty safe nowadays? Um, so yeah, with the mechanic, the barrage mechanic, I do think that is in the absolute right direction. Contrary to what some of my colleagues say, I do think that is in the right direction. I do think it needs to be reworked a little bit throughout the tiers, but yes, I do think it has potential. Overall, those are the questions for this month. Thank you all for submitting your questions. I look forward to seeing April's questions as well. But until next time, stay healthy, everyone. Wash your hands. Literally, for the love of God, wash your hands. And, you know, 6 feet, people, 6 feet, or 3 meters, or whatever the distance is. But yes, stay healthy, everyone. And until next time, this has been Darren of WotC Academy.